mythical. Yeah.
The NBA draft is getting shook up like dice at the craps table. Potential #1 overall pick Joel Embiid won't be able to attend the draft because he's having surgery on his broken right foot. Embiid now drops from the #1 overall pick to #4 on Chad Ford's latest mock draft. Andrew Wiggins now takes the top spot, followed by Jabari Parker and Dante Exum. Bigger picture here, how do you guys project the futures of these big-name prospects? It's the Big A draft. Awful, average, or all-star. The Big A.
Sponsored by AAA.
No other A's. Average, awful, all-star. Let's start off with Joel Embiid.
Well, first I'm interested is when you said shook up like dice, Freddie got comfortable real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie felt at home all of a sudden.
Daddy loves himself some Vegas now. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
You said Embiid. That's a tough.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah,
That's the fourth A.
All right, you know what? Awful.
Wow. Really?
Oh, really? You know what? I think in this day and age, you're going to need somebody to really beat the dude who I think is really going to be the next player in the NBA to change how the direction the league is going to go, and that's Anthony Davis. And I think you need a big, to do that. So I think, that's why Noel got picked last year. I think that's where Embiid is going to go now. That's why I think they're so attractive to NBA teams right now, but because they're trying to find somebody to match up down the line, like 5 years from now, because of the beast that I think Anthony Davis is going to be. But I don't think he's going to be able to reach that level. I really don't. And, a lot of it depends on which team he goes to, but I just don't see him panning out that way. I really don't.
I'll say average because I'm always worried of big guys who have foot issues. Yao Ming went through it. Zydrunas Ilgauskas went through it. Greg Oden. Bill Walton, his career was ruined. He was an MVP. He had the foot issues.
And this is second injury.
And he had the back injury.
So this is the foot. So this is two.
So you got two things that concern me with big men, and especially when his game is dependent on so much athleticism. I know we don't have a large baseline with him with 1 year cans. I clearly understand that the drafting on potential. But when you've had back-to-back injuries like that, where one injury costs you a chance to be in the Big 12 tournament and the NCAA tournament, and now this one where you could be out 4 to 6 months if you're Joel Embiid, I'm very worried of a guy like that. If you take him #1, that this could come back to blow up in your face. I think Cleveland is still going to take him #1 because of the potential. But I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be an average player.
I'm with Freddie. You have to go average here just because you don't know enough. You don't know enough about his health. I would say if he was healthy, I would say all-star because I think he's that good. But I'll go average here because you just don't know enough with the injuries, and that's certainly a big factor. I don't think he's going to go #1. I agree with you. I think Cleveland should, because if you liked him before the injury, and there's no, we don't know if he's going to be out for the entire season yet. If you liked him that much before the injury, you should probably stay with him. But you're also trying to keep Kyrie Irving. You're trying to attract free agents, so it's a difficult decision to make. But I'm going to go average just because you don't know enough about the health here, Scoop.
Yeah, I just don't. I think he's going to, and maybe I'm measuring him wrong by saying awful. I'm measuring him against the ceiling that I think is Anthony Davis, and that's why people are drafting bigger players because you got to deal with him. And so I just don't think he's going to match up there. I think for what I've seen in him is Kansas, and where I think his growth may be, and that's really depending on where he goes and how a team nurtures him and grows him. I just don't see it happening. And I look at Anthony Davis as possibly being this generation's new Tim Duncan. And I don't see dude coming up. You know what I'm saying? I don't see Embiid being at that level, and that's where he's going to get judged against because that's the play he's going to have to go through in order to get to the All-Star team, to get to All-Star level.
He only played organized basketball for 3 years. You don't know if his ceiling is going to be very, very high or if he's gotten to a certain level because he may not develop that NBA skill set that you're going to need in a guy that's 7 feet 7'1".
You guys keep bringing up Anthony Davis. It's interesting. We talked about this on our radio show. If you had to choose a guy to start your franchise, a guy under the age of 25 right now, you'd probably go Anthony Davis.
I agree with that.
Durant,
absolutely.
Because Durant's right at 25. So
yeah,
Durant,
but I may go Anthony still. Anthony's ridiculous.
Over Durant, huh?
Yeah, and that's why I'm holding it against Embiid because to me that's who he's going to be judged against.
Yeah.
He's his first 5 years of his career. Every time he plays or how that new ceiling. It's going to be him. And then once Anthony Davis gets to the 8th year, I think that's when he's really going to take off. Yep. And I don't know if Embiid's going to be able to catch up.
Back to the topic at hand, Embiid's Kansas teammate Andrew Wiggins. Which one? Awful, average?
See, average to me, but it depends on where he goes. He's one of those situations because he's so raw that if he gets with the wrong coach and the wrong coaching staff and the wrong team, it could go really bad really quick. He could be like he could be the next Wesley Johnson. He could be the next Derek Williams where he just falls off.
Well, Scoop is going to a bad team, though. I mean,
listen, that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily he has to stay there, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It depends on where he goes and where he stays and what that coaching staff is going to look like because the coaching staff can change, too. So, to me, those two things, I say average, and I think that's fair with him because he's just raw talent. But he gets in the wrong hands, it could be ugly.
Some people in Cleveland are probably thinking, Will anyone come here and stay here? Because they already told that Joel Embiid should come here, and if Andrew Wiggins comes here, he's going to leave. I think he's going to be an all-star. I think he's only scratched the surface at Kansas. I love his wingspan. The guy's a 7-foot wingspan. He's 6'8", really good defender, but he can create not just in the open floor, but that step-back move could be his go-to move in the NBA where he can create that space and get to the foul line. I think having that kind of confidence that he has, because he still does not like the fact that potentially he's not going to go _1 in this draft. And I've seen guys in that position where they take that motivation and they turn into all-stars and they turn into Hall of Famers. Michael Jordan is still upset that that Portland chose Sam Bowie over him.
Paul
that Houston
Pierce.
chose
Paul Pierce, number 10.
Paul
he carried that his whole career.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So Wiggins could go first here now with the injury.
Well, he'll still have the motivation because many people still don't think he's the best player in this draft. I think his upside is the best upside of anybody in this draft. I think he's going to be an all-star.
I think he's going to be an all-star, too. Sometimes the college game can kind of restrict you, and you can't see the full game. You can't see what, certain guys can do.
Right, because they're not playing studs every night.
Right,
that's
they're
a
not
great
playing
point.
studs every night. And I'm with you. I think, we haven't seen the best of Andrew Wiggins yet. We expected a lot, and maybe the expectations were too high headed into his freshman year at Kansas. They probably were. But we haven't seen the real Andrew Wiggins yet. I think you'll see it in the NBA game where it's more spaced out and more open, because I think he's a great athlete. I think he's going to be an all-star, regardless of where he lands.
Wiggins is Chad Ford's new #1 projected.
As he should be.
And his number 2 is Jabari Parker. Scoop. Jabari Parker.
I got Jabari being an all-star. To me, and this is no disrespect to Andrew Wiggins, but the only reason to me that Andrew Wiggins got to be the #1 player in high school is because Jabari injured his foot playing for USA Basketball. Jabari was the #1 player junior, should have been the #1 player coming to his senior year. Last year, he showed you he was the #1 damn near the #1 player in college basketball, even as a freshman. So to me, I look at the consistency of what's been the arc of Jabari Parker, and I don't see that even stopping. I see it getting better because you just said college basketball sometimes can restrict you. There hasn't been a rookie that's played, a freshman that's played under Krzyzewski's program that did what Jabari has done offensively. So what happens when he gets to the NBA? He's all-star, and I'm pretty sure soon all-star.
Haven't been a ton for all the great players Duke has had, though. There haven't been a ton of great NBA players that have come from Duke.
That is true.
Yeah. But Kyrie Irving's a class example. Somebody who came from Duke and did his thing. Grant Hill, before he got injured, did his thing. Luol Deng, come from Duke, did his thing. So,
You just named the 3.
Jabari's going to be the 4 then.
I'm just stunned that Cherokee Parks didn't make this discussion. But maybe that's just me. I'm with you about him being an all-star in terms of his NBA skill set. And he reminds me so much of what Kevin Love is now in the NBA. That stretch 4 who can post up. You look at his numbers last year at Duke, where he averaged over 19 points a game and close to 8 rebounds a game. And at times he took over ball games for Duke, and he was a freshman. Now, people worry about if he's going to put on too much weight. If he puts on a little bit of weight to be a power forward, I'm okay with that. But I think right now he's the most NBA-ready guy in terms of what he can do inside and outside. Everybody worries about their defense. Come on, everybody worries about defense when you go to the NBA after your 1 year in college. But I think he'll be more than manageable. I'm with you, Scoop. I think he's going to be an all-star.
Just because I can't say that everyone's going to be an all-star here or average, and I have to choose someone to be awful, I'm going to go Jabari Parker as awful.
Wow.
Just because I haven't seen too many guys come out of Duke. Kyrie Irving is the exception. I think he's the exception. Grant Hill may be the other one. I wouldn't put Luol Deng in their class. I just wouldn't.
2 all-star games.
I don't know what it is. I just haven't seen too many guys come out of Duke and that game translate into an all-star caliber player in the NBA. I just haven't seen it. So maybe it's the fact that I haven't seen it. It's why I'm going to kind of go awful on Jabari Parker.
I disagree, but okay.
Yeah. No love for Allah Abdel Nabi right there. All right. Kentucky, Julius Randle.
Trajan Landon.
The Alaskan assassin.
Right.
Julius Randle, Scoop.
You're going awful here, aren't you?
No, you know what? I'm going to go double A. This is the big A. I'm going big double A. Above average. I can't say all-star, but above average.
Nice.
I'm going to give him that.
Okay.
I'm going to give him that. Now, if he gets taken, what I'm thinking, I keep hearing that he may go to the Kings.
Right.
That seems to be the
You do not want him around DeMarcus Cousins.
And well, it's not. It's not. It's
you want
not,
anyone around?
No, it's not.
True.
It's not about being around DeMarcus Cousins. I just look at the fact. I'm a big proponent of depends on where these players go and how they develop. DeMarcus Cousins should be a much more respected player in this league than he is, but because he's in Sacramento and because of the way their system runs, they're not getting the max out. He's much better than what he's presenting himself.
But he has high knuckleheaded tendencies at times.
But even at that, just from a player standpoint, we can get past knuckleheadedness if you put it on the floor. My thing is that DeMarcus is putting it on the floor, but he's not the player he should be. I'm thinking if Julius Randle gets down there, maybe it's something in Sacramento that they're not developing their players and getting them to the respect that we should be talking about DeMarcus Cousins the same way we're talking about a Kevin Love. Bad team, great player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He can ball.
Huh?
I'll give you that. He can ball.
He can ball. What I'm saying is that we're still not getting it. I don't want to see Julius Randle go down there and have the same thing happen to him that happened to DeMarcus Cousins, where he's overlooked at All-Star time, where he's overlooked when it comes to top NBA, one of the All-NBA teams, where he's just not looked at because he's down there. I think he's going to be an above-average player. I think he has the same ability to be like the next DeMarcus Cousins. But in Sacramento, especially for the first 5 years of your contract, your rookie contract, to being stuck down there, you're not going to get what you deserve, I don't think.
Yeah, you're giving him much more love than I do because I think he's just going to be an average player. He has an NBA body, and that bully ball works in Kentucky when you can physically overpower anybody you go up against. But everybody is built like that in the NBA. So that bully ball style is not going to work. The one advantage that he has is that he's left-handed. Not a lot of left-handers, especially playing in the front court in the NBA. But he still doesn't have a move. I look at him and say, okay, that's the move that will keep you in the NBA and allow you to score anywhere from 18 to 20 points a game. I think Julius Randle will be a terrific rebounder. He has great desire to do that. And I think that's the kind of guy that you're really going to need. But if you're expecting this guy to get you 15, 18 points a game, I just don't see it right now from Julius Randle. I'm not worried about the foot issue that he might have had, that injury out of high school playing in Texas. I just think being a great rebounder is great, but that is an average player in the NBA, and I think that's what he's going to wind up being.
I think he's the most NBA-ready player in this draft, and I think when we look back 3 or 4 years from now, it's going to be proven that he is the best player in this draft. To me, it has Charles Barkley written all over it. That kind of body type, he can dribble the ball, he's powerful, he can rebound. I think he'll develop the moves that you're talking about. I think he could score, and I think once you get into the NBA, again, that restrictive kind of nature of the college basketball game, the offenses, and the way they play defense with zones and stuff, you didn't really see all you could see from Randle. So I think he's going to be the best player in the draft.
And Randle projected to go number 10, according to Chad Ford, to the 76ers. So, hey, who knows? Maybe there's a Barkley connection.
Would be a nice combination.
Yeah, and he wants to rebound. I think that's the thing that I agree with John. He wants to rebound.
I agree with that, too.
Yeah, he enjoys it.
All right, guys.
Yeah, he does.
Coming up, Bill Belichick and the Patriots facing new questions of integrity.